It is the evening of July 4th, 1914. A group of men are gathered in a small and dingy apartment located at 1626 Lexington Avenue in New York City. They speak in hushed tones and work feverishly to assemble a device. And it's not an ordinary object, it's a bomb. And they are building it with a singular purpose in mind: to kill one man, John D. Rockefeller. The story of the richest man on earth ironically doesn't start with a lavish upbringing. It is shaped by a strange relationship with his parents. On top of that, his childhood is plagued by a never-ending battle of hardships. Rockefeller's father is hardly a role model, a swindler by trade, making a living by selling fake medicines. To make matters worse, his father also maintains a secret second family. He is frequently absent, and the burden to make ends meet falls on Rockefeller's mother. She is constantly battling to keep food on the table and a roof over their heads. Growing up in this chaotic household and seeing the sacrifices of his mother, Rockefeller vows to never let her suffer again. Rockefeller learns how to hustle and make a quick buck. According to history books, he saves up enough money to buy a bag of candy and becomes the neighborhood dealer. By the age of 12, Rockefeller has saved up $50 and loans it to a farmer at 7% interest. He also takes on various odd jobs like raising turkeys. The family is always on the move, never having the chance to call any place home. Rockefeller finally breathes a sigh of relief when his family settles in Cleveland, Ohio. But at 16, he makes a bold move. He drops out of school to work as a clerk for pennies. His goal? Create a future where his family never has to suffer again. Rockefeller is determined to rise from the ashes of poverty and never look back. Even after years of hard work, Rockefeller's boss won't give him the raise he needs. Even I've had moments where I've been frustrated with my career. Who hasn't? For example, I was always very focused on a career in finance, but recently tech careers have been looking more and more attractive. And if you, like Rockefeller, are unsatisfied with your paycheck and thinking about changing jobs or even careers, we have something for you. Introducing course careers. They're replacing college as the modern way people are starting careers, and it's so simple. All you do is go through an affordable online course where you learn everything required to actually do the job. Then they help you land a position by partnering with a wide range of tech companies who are hiring from them. Check out some of their stories of people like Kyle, who went from being a 37-year-old assembly line worker in Indiana pressing buttons with no degree to making over $150K in a medical technology sales career. Or Della, who served duty in the military and didn't know what to do afterward, to making over $100K as a cybersecurity tech sales rep working fully remote. Go to coursecareers.com, link in the bio, to sign up for their free introduction course where you'll learn exactly how you can start a high-paying technology career without a degree or previous experience. As he looks at his meager paycheck, he knows something has to change. He realizes he needs to take matters into his own hands. So he quits his job and teams up with his neighbor, Maurice Clark, to start their own business. With a combined investment of $4,000, Rockefeller and his partner kick off their business venture, trading hay, grain, and various meats. Despite fierce competition in the industry, Rockefeller's grit and cunning propel the company to achieve remarkable success. At the end of their first year in business, Rockefeller and Clark make a splash, grossing a staggering $450,000 with a profit of $4,400. But little does Rockefeller know that his life is about to change forever, as a groundbreaking discovery is about to be made. In the 1850s, the quest for oil is a tedious and unpredictable process, but everything changes with one big discovery.
The discovery of oil in western Pennsylvania in 1859 set off a frenzy of production.
Suddenly, crude oil is available in vast quantities, and Rockefeller wastes no time in seizing the opportunity. He realizes that the real treasure lies not in the oil wells, but in the refineries. Drilling for oil is a high-risk venture, and many go bust before hitting the jackpot, so why take the risk? Instead, Rockefeller lets others do the heavy lifting of finding oil, and then he swoops in to buy it off them. He waits patiently for the government to build a rail line connecting the Pennsylvania oil fields to Cleveland. And when that line is finally built, Rockefeller pounces. He already has a long line of partners and banks ready to back him. So in 1863, he makes a grand entrance into the oil business by investing in a Cleveland refinery. As Rockefeller dives deeper into the oil business, he knows he needs to think outside the box to truly make a name for himself. He assembles a team of the brightest minds in chemistry and engineering, and together they come up with a game-changing approach to refining petroleum. The other refineries mindlessly dump precious resources into rivers and sludge piles, but Rockefeller sees the value in every last drop. The results are nothing short of astounding. Waste is minimized, profits soar, and new markets for petroleum byproducts are emerging. Rockefeller has become a true trailblazer, leaving his competitors scrambling to catch up. And within just 5 years of starting his own refinery, Rockefeller manages to buy out all but 4 of the 26 competing refineries in Cleveland. And this is just the beginning. Rockefeller's refinery's worth skyrockets to over $70,000, placing it among the most prominent and profitable in all of Cleveland. But Rockefeller's hunger to dominate the oil industry knows no bounds. In true megalomaniac fashion, he resorts to every possible tactic to crush his remaining competitors.
To him, there was no reason why there should be several competitors in any given market. Why not take simply the best, the most efficient producer, the most efficient distributor, which of course was Standard Oil, and give them the entire market? And of course, people wouldn't give it to him. He had to take it for himself, and he was ruthless in doing so.
Rockefeller's first move is to buy up all the oil barrels, refining equipment and suppliers, and withhold replacement parts from his competitors. The sudden shortage crippled small, local businesses, giving Rockefeller a significant advantage. But he doesn't stop there. Rockefeller hatches a ruthless plan to scheme price wars between exclusively owned subsidiaries. By forcing his competitors to engage in a price war they can't sustain, he drives them out of business. With no other options available, customers are forced to turn to him as the sole provider of oil and kerosene. But Rockefeller isn't satisfied. He wants more. He wants to control everything, leaving his competitors helpless and at his mercy. Just a handful of them are left now, and Rockefeller sees them as nothing more than mere chimps to be crushed under his silverback foot.
When Rockefeller gives you a choice, one remembers the famous phrase from The Godfather about making offers that you can't refuse.
He invites his competitors over to his office, a devilish glint in his eye. As they take a seat, Rockefeller calmly opens his books, revealing a vast war chest and an unrivaled ability to outlast them all. Rockefeller knows that not all of them will give up easily. He braces himself for the battle ahead as some competitors throw down the gauntlet, igniting a vicious price war. He slowly erodes the price of oil and kerosene over time, sometimes by as much as 80%. Rockefeller's competitors drop like flies, unable to withstand his ruthless determination and immense wealth. They are left with two choices: either sell out to Rockefeller or face bankruptcy. What Rockefeller does next is a genius move wannabe hyper-capitalists ought to take note of. He offers former competitors positions in his own company, making them his subordinates and placing the brightest minds in the industry under his control. Rockefeller's power is now beyond reach. He invites the owners of the big rail companies and strikes deals that give him exclusive access to their trains at a steep discount.
It was obviously these advantages that he in effect extorted from the railroads that led to that just explosive growth that overnight made Standard into a kind of a wonder of the world.
And his company controls the point where it all starts.
At the peak of its power, Standard Oil controlled approximately 1/3 of the oil wells themselves.
The once competitive landscape is now under the control of one man.
His company, Standard Oil, savages and then swallows up its competitors and ends up controlling 90% of the American oil industry.
The people are trapped, forced to buy from Standard Oil not because it is the best choice, but because it is the only one. However, the winds of change are blowing. America's largest newspaper at the time describes Standard Oil as the most cruel, impudent, pitiless, and grasping monopoly that ever fastened upon a country. The stage is set for a showdown between the ruthless oil tycoon and those who seek to bring him down. Rockefeller has reached the pinnacle of power with Standard Oil's vast empire, which includes 20,000 domestic wells, 4,000 miles of pipeline, 5,000 tank cars, and over 100,000 employees. But he can sense the whispers in the shadows. It's not long before he discovers that legislators in Ohio are drafting antitrust regulations to bring down his empire. Rockefeller is always one step ahead of his opponents. In 1882, he reincorporates Standard Oil in New Jersey, creating the Standard Oil Trust. By holding stakes in over 40 local companies, Rockefeller further consolidates his power and evades regulation, making it harder for his opponents to bring him down. But Rockefeller's seemingly invincible hold on the oil industry is starting to show cracks. Massive oil deposits have been discovered in Russia and Asia, and now a new threat looms over him: the Rothschild family. The Rothschilds are not just any ordinary family. They are the epitome of wealth and power. They have taken an interest in these new discoveries and spare no expense in bringing that oil to America. With their staggering riches and unparalleled political influence, the Rothschild family threatens to topple Standard Oil's iron hold on the industry. Rockefeller's troubles are far from over. Ida Tarbell, a woman whose father was put out of business by Standard Oil, is writing a series of articles aimed at exposing the truth about Rockefeller's infamous deals with the railroads. The articles paint Rockefeller as the ultimate enemy of America and threaten to shatter his reputation. But Tarbell's most devastating blow is yet to come. She reveals Rockefeller's father as a snake oil salesman, bigamist, and an accused rapist, a dark secret that Rockefeller had hidden from the world. The discovery that his father is still alive sets off a nationwide manhunt, with one newspaper offering a staggering $8,000 reward for information about him. Rockefeller, once the king of American capitalism, now fears for his own family's safety. He withdraws from the public eye, secludes himself in his mansion, and surrounds his family with bodyguards. Little does Rockefeller know he's about to face a formidable opponent, one who will stop at nothing to bring him down and shatter his empire to pieces. President Theodore Roosevelt, an opponent of monopolies, vows to destroy Standard Oil. The federal government files a massive antitrust suit against Standard, the first of its kind. With the federal government finally targeting Standard Oil, politicians see an opportunity to take down the all-powerful oil giant. But as they delve deeper into the complex legal structure behind the company, they realize that dismantling it will be no easy feat. After years of legal battles and political wrangling, the fate of Standard Oil is finally decided in 1911. The Supreme Court's verdict sends shockwaves through the business world and the public at large. With a stroke of a pen, the company that had once dominated the oil industry is now broken up into 34 separate entities. The government's long-awaited breakup finally shatters its monopoly, but it can't erase the immense impact it had on the industry and the world. Despite the forced division, Rockefeller remains an incredibly wealthy man, as he astutely retained his stake in the newly formed companies. As a result, the breakup turns out to be one of the most profitable events of his life, with the value of his shares skyrocketing. Some estimates suggest that at its peak, the true worth of Standard Oil was a staggering $1 trillion. But Rockefeller is about to realize, with great power comes even greater enemies. The dawn of the 20th century in the financial heartland of New York is a time of fear, unrest, and violence. The all-consuming power and wealth of a select few is shredding the very fabric of American society. Anarchists, fueled by anger and resentment, are turning to terrorism, targeting some of the country's wealthiest and most influential figures in their quest for justice. And in the midst of this chaos, Rockefeller is about to come face to face with a threat that even his wealth and power cannot protect him from. The bustling streets of New York City fall eerily silent on July 4th, 1914. Horrified onlookers watch as the force of the blast destroys the 3 upper floors of the building, causing a shower of debris to rain down on rooftops and streets. The air is thick with smoke and the sound of sirens fills the chaotic scene. As the dust begins to settle, it becomes clear that this is no ordinary accident. The explosion is due to a bomb that was being crafted in the building by a group of anarchists. It had exploded prematurely, but it later emerges that the bomb was intended for Rockefeller. Even though Rockefeller is not harmed, the explosion serves as a chilling reminder of the perils that come with possessing immense riches and power. Rockefeller knows that his enemies will stop at nothing to take him down, to steal his fortune and strip him of his influence. But the legacy of Rockefeller lives on, a testament to the unrelenting pursuit of power and wealth in a world where only the strongest survive. As the shadows of his enemies continue to loom, one thing remains clear: the game of business is a never-ending battle where only the most cunning and determined will emerge victorious. Remember to go to courscareers.com, link is in the description, if you want to start a new high-paying career in tech without a degree or experience required.